Today we're going to be showing you how to assemble a standard wall cabinet. Let's start by opening up the boxes, removing the instructions, and then we'll begin with the two gables out of box B. Let's start by putting the hinge clip on the gable. It's going to go on the outside edge, which is the finished edge, on the outermost holes on the top and the bottom. Next we're going to insert the steel cams. These go on the outside holes, the smaller ones. Screw these into all four corners on both gables. Next we're going to insert the steel cams and the wooden dowels into the assembly shelves and the spreader rails. It's just starting with these spreader rails. Put the wooden dowels in and gently tap them in with a rubber mallet. Don't force them. Do this to both sides on both spreader rails. Next we're moving on to the assembly shelf. We're going to start by inserting the steel cams into the assembly shelves. Make sure that arrow is pointing towards the hole on the outside of the assembly shelf. Do this to all four, every time making sure the arrow is pointing to the outside of the cabinet. Next we'll insert the wooden dowels, and again we'll tap them in with a rubber mallet. Repeat this same process for both assembly shelves and both spreader rails. Next we're going to attach the spreader rails and the assembly shelves to the gable. Start by laying the gable flat on the table. Now we're going to attach the spreader rails to the gable by lining up the wooden dowels with the holes drilled in the gable. It's a firm fit. Gently push it in until the spreader rail is tight against the gable. Next we're going to attach the assembly shelf to the gable. You want to make sure the steel cams are pointing to the outside of the cabinet. Line the assembly shelf up so the steel dowels are pointing towards the steel cams. You want to make sure this groove that accepts the backboard is lined up. Repeat this process for the second spreader rail and the second assembly shelf. Once the pieces are firmly in place, we're going to move on to inserting the backboard. Take the backboard, line it up into the grooves, the top and bottom left and right, and easily, slowly work it down to the bottom of the cabinet and seat the backboard into the groove on the gable. Next we're going to attach the other gable. Leave the cabinet as it is, bring the gable up over top as Mitch is about to do. Line up the steel dowels to the steel cams, and the wooden dowels should all fit into the corresponding holes. Adjust the spreader rails so they line up into the holes. Gently tap the gable into place. Once all the dowels have lined up, you'll have to align the backboard into the groove on the other gable as well. Once everything is snugly into place, it's time to tighten the steel cams. Simply turn the cam a quarter of a turn clockwise. This will suck the cabinet together, and then an eighth of a turn after that will lock the cam into place. Repeat this for all 8 cams. We're almost there. Let's set the cabinet right side up and insert the shelves. Start by inserting the plastic clips supplied with the cabinet to the desired height that you want the shelves to sit. These can be adjusted after. Now just insert the shelf onto the 4 clips. If the shelf is wobbly, you've miscounted on one of the clips and it needs to be adjusted. Now it's time to insert the hinges into the doors. Start by putting something underneath the door to protect the face when you hammer in the hinges. The box the doors came in will work really well for this. The hinges are a compression fit, so they need to be put in place and firmly but gently hammered in. Next we're going to clip the doors into place. Start by putting the front side of the hinge into the opening, and then the back side will clip on, just as Mitch is about to show right here. You need to hear this click. And the doors are in place. Repeat the same for the other side. Watch our next video on 6-way hinge adjustment to get the doors to sit exactly how you want them.
built right.
Euro-Rite